Yeah, show season 4, episode 12. Sean Gankars with Justin Chasmore and Adam Tyne, as always. Boys, it has been a few weeks since we have done this, and I think the podcast gods hate us or something because our locks have not been good while we are gone. But after a couple of weeks, we are finally back. Overall record still not ideal, but we're still a couple of good weeks away from even getting that back on track. Chaz, you're looking good at 2012 and 1 overall. Adam, me and you could use a little work, but we still have some season left. It's a longer season this year. We missed some time. We are finally back. As I said, boys, it has been a couple weeks. We have seen a lot of things change in what has been a wild NFL season so far. So whether it's a surprise or disappointment over these past couple weeks we are gone, what is the biggest takeaway, whether it's a single team or something that you have over these 2 weeks?
Yeah, boys, it's good to be back. Missed the show a couple of weeks, unfortunately. Gank won a couple games against me, so we really need to get this show going again. I will say this. If there's ever been a year that it's the whole any given Sunday, any team can win, this is certainly the year. And the past few weeks have proved that. I mean, the Bills losing a couple big games. The Titans win these games in LA and then lose to the Texans, who haven't won in 8 weeks. Steelers tied to the Lions at home. So, this is why we love football. A ton of surprises. Looking forward to the rest of the season, but not ideal for all gamblers.
No, it is definitely not.
I will go with a surprise here, and maybe it's because I listen to it every morning on the radio, but I got to give the Birds some credit here in Philly. 3 straight wins, and they're doing it in their fashion. They've finally committed to running the football, which they just simply didn't do the first 8 weeks of the season. Miles Sanders is back, and Boston Scott has looked good. Jalen Hurts is having a crazy good year. So, if you look at the remaining schedule, it's pretty easy. There's a lot of playoff talk now in Philly. It's kind of playoffs or bust at this point for them. But we gotta give them credit. 3 straight wins. They put themselves in a good spot. They're over under to start the year with 6.5, 30 at 6. So that's obviously probably going to cash. Got to give them credit. They're sticking to the run game, and it's been working.
Yeah, Chaz, I actually was to bring up Philly too. Whatever they've been doing, it's definitely working and working well for them. They're right in the thick of things in that NFC wildcard picture right now. And they still even have a game against Dallas. They're not completely dead when you want to look at their division too. Adam, we talked about a pre-show. We want another takeaway here. All of a sudden, when we did this show last, it looked like a runaway in the AFC East for the Buffalo Bills. But now all of a sudden, here we are back, and we got a new leader atop that division, and New England is back. But biggest thing for me, and it's actually more a disappointment, it's Seattle Seahawks. I know you've been missing Russell Wilson. He finally comes back, but there's something wrong with this team. We saw it last year. Russell Wilson came out. Chaz Hughes, your fantasy quarterback last year, so I know you know all about this, came out, crushed the first half of the season before the offense fell apart. And like I said, he got hurt, missed a month of football, but no, he's been back a couple of weeks, and this Seattle team is still just struggling. I don't know what it is where he can come out firing for the first couple months of the season, but this is the second year in a row Seattle's offense has literally just went all the way up on a roller coaster and just has come crashing down and so showing no signs of going back up. And, hate to say this because I actually like the guy. At what point do you start questioning Pete Carroll and what's going on there in Seattle?
Yeah, even though they made the playoffs last year, right? Like, the kind of crazy part is they're just so bad this year. It just seems like they need a new voice. And I'm so curious to see if Russ leaves. I kind of hope he does, just for a fun NFL storyline.
A team with 2 first-round picks, I can get him.
Man, come to New York. You might like that, man.
Tell me Russell Wilson's coming to my team. I promise you I'm not going to be mad. But bring Sierra out there with him. It's a big city. They know Seattle. Yeah, it's been, like we said, boys, it's been a wild 2 weeks. It's been a wild NFL season. It is a totally different landscape in the NFL than what we were at last show and where we are now. But with that said, we are back here, and it is also Thanksgiving week, which means we got 3 games Thursday. I know your Bears are going to start us off in the thriller on that too. Andy Dalton facing Tim Boyle, Doyle, Foyle, whatever the hell his last name is over there in Detroit. Bears -3. Detroit still looking for that first win. Over under 41.5. Adam, we know all Chicago wants Nagy gone. Does he save his job for another week potentially?
I think he does. That being said, we got a possible NFC Championship preview coming up right now. So Bears Lions. Nah, I mean, my thing with this is, again, I mean, to be fair to you, you say it, they're a better team probably right now with Andy Dalton starting, which I don't think is a crazy thing to say, being as he's just a more experienced NFL quarterback. And Fields is out. I think Andy Dalton's a productive quarterback who has shown that he can make some plays, and against a bad Lions team, he will. Wouldn't be shocked in the least if the Lions got their first win, and they might be circling it as this one. But I actually just don't think that's going to happen because, I mean, if Tim Doyle is starting, Foyle, yeah, whatever one it is, I just really don't see it. And I think the Bears will run the ball maybe 30 times this game. David Montgomery has a huge day. He had 2 touchdowns last time they played the Lions. And the Bears just kind of find a way to win here because, frankly, they need it. And I think they're just a better team than the Lions somehow, but they are. So I'll take the Bears in kind of a few points, but I think that they win and cover in this game. I'm going to go 23-17.
I'm going to join you on that too, Adam. Just strictly because you look at the quarterback matchup, and sorry, Andy Dalton, like, I'm not going to say this is nice for you, but you're also just the way better quarterback here. And when it's all said and done, obviously Detroit has been looking for that first win all season, haven't been able to get it. Now we're down to a guy that couldn't even really put up numbers in college, let alone come the NFL now. I just think it's going to be a struggle for Detroit. I do think they come out, put up a little bit of a fight early, but just give me Andy Dalton, who's not even that good, over Tim Boyle, though. Adam, I'm with you. I'll even take the same score on that. Bears 23-17.
Our boys will be the lone wolf here. Take my Lions. I think they get the first win here. I just took a peek at their schedule, and it's either this week or in Atlanta, week 16. So I'm gonna take them to get it here. I don't think they go winless on the year, even though they're not a good team. This is kind of depending. I do think Goff has a decent chance to play. I think he practiced today limited, so it might not be Tim Boyle, which for America's sake, I'm hoping. But Lions on Thanksgiving, obviously they play every year. They've not won a game since 2016. So some would say they are due. And
will they happen to beat the Bears that year?
I don't know. Within that time, though, the Bears have beaten them twice. So it just feels like they're due. Obviously, at home, they can get their win on national television and then kind of fall off the rest of the year. So I'm gonna go with the Lions at home here. I don't think the Bears are a very good team. Just watching that game last week, maybe I have a sour taste in my mouth, but I'm gonna take the Lions here at home, get their first win. I'll go 23-21. The Lions.
I believe last year was when Deshaun Watson had like 5 touchdowns, right? Was that 2 years ago, maybe? I know they played the Texans recently on.
I remember that. I think that was 2 years ago, but I don't know.
Maybe it was 2 years ago. I just remember him going off one year.
Yeah, he went crazy. And Will
Fuller. I do remember that. I will say this too. If Jared Goff is the starting quarterback, I will pick the Lions to win that game.
Yeah, that's it. That's the change.
I will throw that out there. I actually do like the Lions to win that game if he's starting, but I'm going to go based off the fact that I think it's all Tim. But I'm going to take Andy Dalton to win in that situation.
Hey, big Tim threw for 77 yards last week, so let's not give him
big Tim.
77 big.
That might beat some of Justin Fields' games.
Yeah,
all right, second game, though, should bring us a little more excitement here. Vegas traveling to Dallas. Dallas -7.5 at home, over under 50.5. But I actually do think this game's to be pretty fun. You know, Henry Ruggs, that whole story situation ever since it happened, Vegas's offense shows that it's been lacking a deep threat. I mean, he was obviously their deep threat guy, and they show they kind of don't have it. Been struggling the past couple of weeks, but Dallas coming off the loss to Kansas City too, coming at home. With that said, I will take the Raiders to cover here in Dallas to win. 7.5 feels like a big number. Derek Carr is still having a very good season. I think it's still somewhat going overlooked. Similar to his 2015 damn near MVP campaign, and almost went overlooked the whole season. I think it's going overlooked again right now for a bit. I think he's playing well enough to keep the Raiders in this game. Though it's Thanksgiving football game, Derek Carr shows he likes to step up in big time, prime time games. I've seen it a few times in his career. Definitely earlier this year, watched it opening Monday night against your Ravens. Sorry, Chaz, but we know he could step up in types of games like this. So I think he keeps the Raiders in it. I do think Dallas wins. I think it's the most fun football game that you can watch this Thursday coming up. Give me the Cowboys to win, Raiders to cover. Game just goes over that 50.5, 27-24.
Yeah, again, I'm with you here. My favorite bet here is definitely the over. With the hook, kind of scares me. I feel like the Raiders do cover that, especially with Dallas. I don't know if Tyron Smith is playing their left tackle. Either way, without him and Cooper, possibly they're just not the same team. And the Raiders are the type of team that will get blown out by 20 and then come back and win a game on Thanksgiving again in Dallas. So I'll take the Raiders to cover here. I like the Cowboys to win. I love the over. I see some points here. I'm going to go 31-27 Dallas.
Yeah, I'm right there with you guys. AT, I think you just hit it on the head. This is a classic Raider game that they're going to just show up for after getting mopped by the Bengals at home. Obviously, I mean, Dallas, I saw the line. I was honestly very surprised. 7.5 feels like a lot with no Cooper and possibly no CeeDee Lamb. Playmakers are going to be thin for Dallas. And I mean, at home, I'm going to take them to win the game, but the Raiders, who are reeling, like Gank said, they can score and they're not a horrible team. 7.5 is a lot of points in the NFL. I'll take the Raiders to cover, boys to win 27-24.
Oh, man. No, that's good or bad, because I was heavily debating actually hammering the Raiders that day too.
A lot of points.
I do think that is the funnest.
That's game. That's a bet I'm thinking about making like tonight, possibly too. I don't know though. The whole CeeDee Lamb situation, like if he gets rolled out, I think that line, I may lose that hook. But
yeah, probably.
Yeah, you probably.
All right, and then there's the night game on Thanksgiving, and that's Thursday night football. So we know that means it's Gonzo's pick here. So Chaz, where they go to you, it is Buffalo in New Orleans. Saints 6-point dogs at home here, over under 45.5 against a struggling Bills team. I know where I'm going. I'm just hoping Gonzo rides with me here.
Yeah, this is a weird game because since the last show, AT Saints have been reeling, 3 straight losses. But I mean, the Bills have looked pretty bad too themselves, just getting absolutely blown out last week against the Colts at home. And now they're fighting for that division title with the Patriots, which will probably be won within the next 3 weeks. I think they play each other twice. But Gonzo's going with the Bills here on the road, minus the 5.5. And I think I like it. The Saints are banged up. I mean, obviously, Jameis is out. They're running with Trevor Siemian. Michael Thomas is obviously out for the year. Kamara looks like he's going to be out again. Mark Ingram's on the injury report now. So the team's been decimated by injuries at home. New Orleans, Thanksgiving night. It's going to be a tough atmosphere to play in. But I think the Bills, who just got embarrassed, I think are going to have to come out here, play well, and get ready to play the Patriots next week. So I think they finally get right here. I'll take the Bills and back Gonzo. I'm going to go 28-17 Buffalo.
Yeah, I mean, all I'm going to say is that they were my Saints with Jameis at Q. So that's not the same. It's completely different team. That being said, yeah, I mean, I like the Bills too. They just got smoked. They're a much better team than that. With the Patriots taking the lead in the division, games got the sense of urgency gets up a little bit. It is a tough place to play on Thanksgiving night, but the Saints just don't really have much firepower offensively. And the Bills defense had one bad week overall, very, very good defense. Josh Allen has a big day in the Dome, like the Bills this week. And my Saints will lose 4 straight, unfortunately, and go below 500. I'm going to take them to win. Similar score to you, Chazzy. I'm going to go 27-20 Buffalo.
All right, that's a pick I wanted to hear from Gonzo. And I will say this, I remember going into last year, I had my thoughts about Josh Allen where I said he was good. Don't know, how great if he is. He obviously shut me up last year, had this great season, but all of a sudden, these past couple of weeks, he's starting to kind of look like the Josh Allen I maybe thought he was again. And, it only is a couple of weeks, and there's still a good handful of games left this season where he could get it going. But, that game against Jacksonville was maybe the worst game I've ever seen from him in this Bills team since he's been a part of it. I mean, to only put up 6 points against that team is just embarrassing. With that said, I think Josh Allen's kind of shown the inconsistency I think he has, but he's due for a big game. Bills are good due for a big game. I think they kind of get back on track here. They see New England breathing down their neck. It's a turn to a fun two-way race in the AFC East, I think. So I'm with you guys. I think inconsistent Josh Allen comes out with a big one here in New Orleans on Thanksgiving night. Give me the Bills, and I'm going to go by even a bigger score than that. I'll take them 34-20. I think the offense gets rolling in that one.
And all four of us, us three and Gonzo.
Yeah.
Love that.
That's right. Go Buffalo.
The only thing different right now is Jazz has the lines, which I do too if golf plays.
Yeah.
Side note.
Yeah, covering his hedging his bets.
I mean, it's two totally different games.
Yeah.
Golf. But all right, let's get to Sunday here. And first game we got Sunday here. This is a big one in the AFC here. Tennessee traveling to red hot New England and Foxborough here. Patriots 6-point favorites at home. Over-unders at 44.5. And like I said, Adam, we were talking pre-show, Patriots red hot. I bought them up earlier in the show. All of a sudden they're shooting back up on top of that AFC East. And the Titans, who have been a bit of a surprise in the AFC, obviously the way they shot up first in those standings before the Derrick Henry injury, have still been a pretty good team, a fun team to watch. And I'm going to say this right now. I'm going to take the upset. I'm going to take Tennessee to win this game outright. Yes, New England has looked good. Yes, they have climbed. I don't know if they really have a win that impresses me. I think Cleveland may have been the best team they have beat during this stretch, and they beat them. I mean, they fucking kicked their ass 45-7, if I'm not mistaken. But that said, I'm still not too impressed by what I've seen from Cleveland this year either. I think this line's a little inflated just based on the wins, based on New England's past and the way they've been winning recently. And I still think Tennessee's kind of getting overlooked. Yes, Derrick Henry's hurt. It's painful, but this offense still has a lot of weapons. I still think they can have a way to move the ball. New England's defense is obviously no joke. It never really has been as long as Belichick's there. But I think the Titans are going to find a way here. I think Vrabel's going to get Bill. It's going to be a fun football game, big one. Give me the Titans 23-20.
Yeah, I can give him credit. I mean, I'm not going to take the Titans outright, but I completely agree. I love the Titans with the 6 points. The only thing you can say about the Titans is that they're going to lose at home or away to shitty teams, and then they'll go in and win in LA in the Rams. This feels like a game that they bounce back. Now that you can see they're missing Derrick Henry. Obviously, every team would if they lost Derrick Henry. But, I just feel like Vrabel has gotten the best of Belichick in the past few years. I think he kind of knows how to beat him. And the Pats are playing really well. I think they find a way to win this game, but Titans keep it close. Their defense has stepped it up recently. Even against the Texans, they played pretty well. The offense just couldn't get anything going. So I kind of like an uglier, low-scoring game. But I think it'll be a Titans cover here. Pats win 20-17.
Yeah, I'm with you guys. I'm with Gank. I'm taking the Titans to win this game too. As soon as I saw this, I don't need the 6 points. I think the Titans. I mean, you get an 8-3 Titan team that has been red hot, getting 6 points on the road. Obviously, a bad loss last week to the Texans, but I'm not really going to look into that. I'm going to look into the rest of their season. I think they're a very good team. One hiccup isn't going to scare me away. The Patriots have looked fantastic. Don't get me wrong, but I don't think they're as good as everyone's hyping up them to be. So I'm going to take the Titans to win this game outright. I'm going to go 23-20. But also there's a betting trend that is hitting like crazy this year, and it falls into this game. So I have to bring it up. If you take a team that did not cover last week versus a team that did cover, if you take the team that didn't cover this week, so like the Titans didn't cover last week, the Patriots did cover. So if you take the Titans, it is 42-20-1 this season.
That just checks out based on this year.
I'll ride that.
Yeah.
So there is 5 games.
Tell you.
There's 5 games this week that fall in that category. The Titans are 1. The next 2 games also fall into it, and then 2 later. So I'll bring it up, but that trend it's kind of remarkable how much that's hitting.
Yeah, well, that actually is unbelievable. Should go to show you maybe lines are a little bit inflated just based off the previous weeks.
Yep.
Yeah, that brings us to the next game. You said this falls into the category. Jets in Houston here. Houston -2.5, over under 45. Guys, let me be straight up honest. I don't even know who the fuck's quarterbacking for these teams. I don't know what to say. I'm going to take Houston to win and cover 24-21. That's all I really got for that.
I think that was the quickest just like reaction ever in BS show history. Yo, I mean, Jake, I honestly completely agree. I don't know who quarterback the Jets. I thought I saw that Wilson's healthy and playing. Is that right?
Apparently there's a decision tomorrow, I believe, if I read that right, but I don't know.
I saw Wilson starting because
yes, so did I.
Flacco and
Okay.
Like on the COVID list.
Yeah, I thought they were waiting till like maybe the Wednesday practice before we knew anything official, but
yeah.
I guess I'm just going to take the Texans coming off a big win with Tyrod playing Q. It goes against that theory, but I don't believe in the Jets right now. So, yeah, I like Tyrod at home, get another one, and, we'll go with that. I'll go 23-17 Houston.
One game that I definitely will not be actually betting. The Jets, the 2-8, the battle of the 2-8s. I'm gonna ride with that betting trend here. I'm gonna take the Jets to actually win this game. I love me some Tyrod. I took him last week plus a 10. I should have fucking locked it, but I can't take the Texans to win 2 games in a row. And Zach Wilson's coming back. There's one side you could say he's gonna be rusty, but there's another side that I think they held him out until he was completely healthy. So I'm gonna take the Jets to go beat a bad football team against Texans. I'll go Jets 17-13.
Ooh, that's a fun game.
Let's go. All right, well, bring us to the other team that plays at my life here. Giants 3.5-point dogs at home against Philly. Over under 46. Giants finally got rid of Jason Garrett. A lot of Giant fans thankful for that, happy of that. Freddie Kitchens in. I don't know how Giant fans feel about that. I know how I feel. Can't say I'm happy, but we'll see what he does. Can't be worse than the plays Jason Garrett we're calling. With that said, I actually almost want to pick the Giants to win this game, but I'm not going to do that. Let me pick the Giants to cover. Over the past season and a half, the Giants have been one of the best teams to cover in the NFL. I'm going to pick them to cover based on this hook, Adam. I know we talked pre-show, or actually right before Chaz joined in. Definitely going to take the Giants to cover 3.5. I really want to pick them outright. I seriously don't think the Giants have won a game every time I picked them outright over the past season and a half too, though. So I'm going to stick with just the covering. It's something that's been working for them. Go Giants. I think they can win. I mean, you saw them last night, disaster of a football game. And the amount of times over this past season and a half too that I've seen the Giants have a disaster. Everybody wants to throw everything out the window, only for them to come out next week and literally have a night and day different team than what we just watched the week before. Is literally unbelievable. And I think this is a game you kind of get fired up for at home. Philly's been rolling, but they've been rolling against nothing that's really impressed me. I mean, you beat Trevor Siemian. Good for you. Nothing impressed me. I think Jalen Hurts I think the Giants defense can cause problem for Hurts. But this also screams Jake Elliott, 50-yarder at the buzzer to win. Eagles 23-20, Giants cover.
Yeah, Gank, we talked pre-show, and this would be a Giants game to win. I'm pretty sure a couple weeks ago I called whoever they beat at home. I just said it was a gut feeling after watching the Giants for 10 years of my life. I'm going to pick it this week. I truly believe the Giants win this game. This is just that game they win. That's no way to describe it. Daniel Jones comes out and plays well, even though he looked horrible last week. Maybe a new play caller can get things going a little bit. Just want to throw this in there because I love the Giants so much. Your starting left tackle has more touchdowns combined than your $20 million a year receiver and your first round pick. So Gank, good stuff all around.
Yeah, that's tough. I'm going to take the Eagles to win here, but I'm going to take the G-men to cover. It feels like a game that the Eagles kind of take a step back. I think, obviously, like I said, they've been a surprise. They've won 3 straight. But like Gank said, it really hasn't been quality opponents. Not that I'm saying the Giants are a quality opponent, but there's a lot of hype behind this Eagles team, and I think this is a scare for them. I think they get the job done, but I think the Giants at home here keep it close. Wouldn't be shocked if they win, but I'll take the Eagles to pull it out. I'm going to go Eagles 23-21.
Evan Ingram's probably going to drop a touchdown or something that would win it. Do you remember that Thursday night game last year? You got Daniel Jones tripping over his own feet.
Yeah.
Evan Ingram dropping wide open passes to convert 4th downs and save the game.
Gank, I think I saw that Daniel Jones is 0-8 on primetime games in his career.
He's not good. I think that may be accurate because
I thought about it, right?
I remember I kind of heard something about that or saw something about that briefly on Twitter or something. But now you're bringing it up too, and I'm trying to think. I can't find a primetime game he won. Like I said, that game last year against Philly where he was running and tripped, Evan Ingram dropped the ball, blew that. At the Thursday night game earlier this year against Washington, that looked like he had. They just lost that.
The offside.
They literally just, other than yesterday where they got completely spanked. So they even almost beat the Chiefs on Monday night too, not that long ago. They literally just find ways to lose in prime time, except yesterday. At least they just did it to me. Daniel Jones threw that terrible pick to Steve McClendon. I'm like, well, I've seen enough. I can turn this off and go to bed.
Yeah.
All right. Another big game here at 1:00. Cross conferences too. Tampa Bay heading to Indianapolis. Colts 3-point dogs at home. Over under 51.5. Tampa Bay got that win, as we just talked about last night, against the Giants, snapping their small 2-game losing streak. But with that said, this Colts team is rolling. They're a team that, since the Andrew Luck days, I've been watching them start slow, get heated up, and find a way to make the playoffs. And with that said, I'm going to take another dog to win out right here. I'm going to take the Colts to win this game at home. Just the Buccaneers offense finally got clicking, looked to get back on track, but that was against a Giants team that looked like they were coming into Tampa knowing they were going to get the loss and didn't even show up last night. This Colts team is completely different. I don't know if they're a team many teams in the NFL want to see right now. Their defense is starting to hit their stride. Wentz is doing everything he has to do with that offense, and I think he has a chance to have a good game against the Bucs here too. So I'm going to take the Colts to win this one out right here against Tampa. Another fun football game at 1:00. Give me the Colts 28-27.
Yeah, Gank, I'm with you, man. I like the Colts in this. I don't know if Vita Vea is going to play. I think he missed the game last night. But interesting matchup. Yep. Yeah, right. Interesting matchup for the Colts because obviously they run the ball and nobody really runs the ball in the Bucs. Now the Giants' offensive line and running game is quite the opposite of the Colts. We'll put it that way. But I think you pick the hot team here. Bucs big win at home against the Giants. That's a game they should win easily. Colts are riding high. I don't know if Jonathan Taylor, anybody has an answer for him right now, but I think Frank Wright's a really good coach. He schemes up something this week to maybe get the passing game involved a little more because the Bucs secondary just isn't that great. I love the points in this game, but I think the Colts win outright and stay hot. I picked them to win the AFC South this year, so hopefully they get hot and make that true. So I will take them to win and cover here 30-27.
I'm gonna take the Bucs here to win and cover. I just think obviously the Colts are playing really well. Jonathan Taylor's going crazy. But if there's a matchup that doesn't play well into the Colts' hands, it's this one against the Bucs, who is arguably the hardest team to run the football against. Obviously, Vita Vea is a massive piece of that, so we'll see if he plays. But I just think Tom Brady and the Bucs obviously get back on track last week after losing 2 straight. I expect them to win here again. The Colts' schedule the rest of the year is not very hard, so they can afford to lose this game, go to 6-6, and I still think they could end up with 10 wins and make the playoffs. I'm just going to trust Tom Brady here, because if the Colts struggle to run the ball, it's going to fall on Carson Wentz, who has played well this year. I will say that, but I'm going to trust Tom Brady to make more plays than Wentz. So I'm going to go Bucs 28-20.
Also feels like the time when Tampa Bay started their run to the Super Bowl last year, right around Thanksgiving.
Brady gets cooking, doesn't lose in
Exact same
December and
thing.
January. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yep.
God. All right. Falcons in Jacksonville here. Jags only 1-point dogs at home. Over under 46.5. I don't have much about this game. The biggest thing I'm looking when I see this game right here is when you look at the NFC wild card, especially with now that 7 teams are in it. You probably even say this about both conferences. I just kind of, as a Giant fan, obviously paid a little bit more attention to the NFC than the AFC. But it's definitely wide open, especially looking for that final spot. So I look at this game and I think it means a lot more for Atlanta, and I think it's a very winnable game for them. So I think that they go on the road here. I think they're going to take care of the Jags. The Jags, obviously, rookie quarterback, rookie coach looking to get wins. They feel like this is a winnable game at home. But give me the vet in this situation. Give me the team that I still think is slightly better here, and I'm going to go with the Falcons on the road here, win, cover 27-20.
Like one of our first disagreements, huh? I like the Jags. This feels like come over gut feeling anything, not really a game I'd love to bet. But it seems like the Jags find a way to win a few games and they have bad weeks, but this seems like a winnable game. And I think they believe that they can win it. So at home, Trevor Lawrence kind of shows out. Falcons defense is nothing to be scared of, in my opinion. I think he has one of the better games of his rookie year, and the Jags find a way to win at home and beat the Falcons, who are kind of reeling a bit. So I will take Jags to win outright. Give me 27-20 Jags.
Yeah, I'm with AT, and AT. The defense isn't too much to be scared of. The Falcons have been outscored 78-3 the last 2 weeks. So, I mean, I don't care who they're playing. They could be playing Barnegat High School. I'd take the Bengals. The Falcons, I have zero confidence in picking them. So I'll take the home team here against a team that is just playing really, really bad football. I'll go Jags 27-24.
All got going over, though. Just throwing that out there.
We do.
Yeah, I do like that over.
Yeah. All right, Adam. Now I'm going to you first on this one here. Your Panthers in Miami, Dolphins rolling right now. Now all of a sudden they're 1.5 underdogs against a Panther team that it's not been that good after the first 3 weeks. We've been saying it all season long after the first 3 weeks, but simply haven't. Dolphins 1.5-point dogs at home, rolling of late, or over under 42. Adam, where are we going here?
This is a tough one, man. This is like, are the Fins of 2 years ago that covered for me like every week, or is it, or the Panthers that good, that bad? This is a tough one for me. I think the Panthers win this game simply because I think their defense just shows up. Fins have looked very good. They've won 3 straight, right? You got to give them credit there. I don't know if they've beaten many teams, but winning is winning. I like the Panthers just because I think they need this game more, and they know that. I mean, they lost a tough game this past week, and they've won 2 games with Cam now. He's gonna get more comfortable, and I just think the Panthers D shows out, has a big game, and the Dolphins struggle offensively to really do much. I don't think this is a fun game to watch. I think it's kind of boring. Panthers run the ball, play well offensively, and their defense shuts down the Fins. So give me 20-13 Carolina.
Yeah, going against you here, Adam. To ride your Fins. Fins have been hot. have some impressive, good win against the Ravens. Got some good wins during this streak, and I'm going to take them and keep rolling at home here. Honestly, I have no reason to pick against them in a game like this. Like we said, Panthers, roller coaster, not even much of a roller coaster. Good first few weeks, and then kind of just very since then. And this Fins team, people forget they were very good last year. They were 10-6, if I'm not mistaken. Failed to make the playoffs, but I didn't want to buy into them again this year. It's kind of been proven right. But at the same time, that talent, that defense is still there. I think it shows up at home. I think they stay rolling. I'm going to take them to win this game outright 21-20.
I'm going to ride with AT here on the Panthers. I think Cam is going to get another win here. Obviously, he came in against the Cardinals and they looked fantastic. And then they played a pretty bad game last week against Washington. I think that was obviously a very emotional game for Cam. Obviously, that's all out the window. He goes to Miami against a Miami team who big win against the Ravens, don't get me wrong, but they also made Joe Flacco last week look pretty good. And Joe Flacco, this point in his career, is simply not very good. So I think the Panthers here, who obviously are 5-6, you talked about the NFC wild card, a win here puts them right back in it. I'm going to trust Cam and the Panthers, who I think is just a better team than the Fins. I'll take Panthers 21-17.
Anyone bet against your Fins this week, maybe?
I'd prefer not to bet with the Panthers again. But we'll see, because our only other option might be Jags Falcons. So I don't know.
Right now it's those two games.
Oh dear God.
Yeah, I think we've been the same on the spread every other game
So do I.
so far. We got some games left though.
Yeah.
I believe at least 6. Well, 5 or 6. Steelers Bengals. Chaz, I'm definitely gonna go to you on this one first here. We talked pre-show. Big week in the AFC North. We got this one. You got your Ravens playing the Browns that we will get to in a bit. But this game at 1:00, so we'll start with this. Steelers 4.5-point dogs heading to Cincinnati here. Over under 4.45. Jazz, your division, how we feeling here?
Yeah, like you said pre-show, it's a massive week for the AFC North. And this is one of probably the biggest rivalries in the NFL now, one of the newer ones. These two teams absolutely hate each other. I said this last time they played this year in Pittsburgh, and Bengals coming off a big win in Vegas and the Steelers coming off a tough loss in LA. I'm going to take the Bengals to win here at home. I think they have to have it, but I'm going to take the Steelers to cover with a decent amount of confidence. I don't care what the records are in games like this. I'm usually going to take the underdog if it's more than 3 points, especially AFC North football. I think it's low scoring. I think it's ugly. I think both teams are going to run the ball, but I'm going to take the home team here to win. I think the Bengals, they've been up and down, but I think they got back on track last week. I'll take the Bengals to win, Steelers to cover 21-20. Bengals.
It is a tough game. Chaz, I think this is one of those games you're talking about where like the team that covered and they're playing a team that didn't cover, you know what I'm saying?
Well, the Steelers covered.
Steelers covered.
Yeah.
Yep.
They lost. Okay. That being said, I mean, I am with you, Chaz. This game completely depends on who's healthy on the Steelers defensively. They didn't have Aminka last week. They didn't have TJ Watt, right? Missing a bunch of guys. And Cam Hayward is just out there just causing havoc. I will go with the Steelers to cover here and Bengals win. Wouldn't be shocked at all if Steelers went into Cincinnati and win this game because you just never know. Joe Burrow has been quietly inconsistent a few games this year, and this could be one of them if the Steelers defense shows up. I'll take the points here, but I think the Bengals do find a way to win just because they're at home. Similar to you, though, ugly, low scoring, and just typical AFC North. So I'll go 20-17 Cincinnati.
Yeah, I'm with you guys. I'm 100% going to take the Steelers cover. And if you haven't been getting the vibe from me all week, it's a big underdog week for me because I'm actually to take the Steelers to win this game outright. Guys like Joe Hayden, Minkah Fitzpatrick, hopefully coming back for the Steelers defense. I think that caused Joe Burrow a lot of problems. I mean, Burrow's he's proven me wrong. I was the biggest Burrow buyer when he was drafted number 1 overall last year. And unfortunately, the torn torn ACL, Achilles, whatever the hell it was with him, believe ACL that put him out, second half of his rookie season, this and that. But every time he's been on the field and I watch him, it's been good things. And he's been fun to watch. And I'll be the first to admit I was definitely wrong about him. But I've been past 2 years, past 3 years, whatever, however long we've been doing this show, we all know I'm big on the Steelers defense. And, over time, Burrow will figure it out. He will be good against them. But right now, in a game like this point of the season, I think it may be a little big, and I think he's going to struggle. I think the Steelers defense will be the difference, the reason why they win this game. Chad, as you said, this rivalry is starting to turn into something, and it's very fun to watch. I mean, that's just, I think, especially when you look at the AFC North too, all four of those teams are good, and it's just physical football. I mean, that is the one division you give me defensive football guys punching in the mouth all day long, and I'll be delighted to watch. And you get that type of game here, and I think the Steelers kind of just out tough the Bengals a little bit here. So I'm with you guys. Steelers to cover. I'm going to take them outright though, 20-17.
I like that. I hope the Steelers do.
Rare thing from the Raven fan to say.
I know, right?
Jesus. You haven't heard that in like 15 years from a Ravens fan.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's always been just those two
Exactly,
for 15 years, but now, I mean, every team in that division is above 500, if I'm not mistaken, right?
I think. I'll take a look.
Yeah, because the Browns are 6-5.
Yeah.
Wow.
Division's very good. And just, like I said, I look at that division, that's like the history of football. Just defense and punch your guy in the mouth and go win a game.
Well, the Steelers and the Ravens have had like two coaches or one coach each for the past 15 years too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just good, a good organization.
It is honestly my favorite division in football.
Yeah. Those primetime games are so fun to watch.
Yeah, they are.
Well, we got one this week.
It is literally the only division you accept, you're watching defensive football and you're going to look forward to it, too.
They all hate each other. They all hate.
Yeah, they all hate each other. If you're a division, you're going to get at them, it'd be the same thing. But it's the Packers or bust.
Rodgers, yeah.
All right, new division here, AFC West, but still a big game. Probably the second best division in football this year. Chargers heading to Denver. Denver plus 2.5 at home here. Over under 47.5. The Chargers, came out last Sunday night against Pittsburgh. Big lead going into the fourth. Blew it. All said and done. Adam, you say, had Mike Williams going. Big 53-yard touchdown. Go ahead, wins the game. Chargers do end up stealing the win. Well, should say holding on, even though they did find a way to fall behind. And I look at this game here. I'm going to take the Chargers to win and cover. I'm going to say that right off the bat. I want to say this. I do think it's going to be a fun football game. I don't think it's going to be easy for them going to Denver, but Denver has just been way too inconsistent for me to pick them right now. I do think the Chargers have talent, obviously a lot of talent offensively. I'm becoming a big Justin Herbert guy. Their defense has been a question. I still think the defense does have talent, though, and can get it going. No, they can this Chargers defense could hit their stride. I'm not going to pick them to win the Super Bowl, but kind of a Tampa Bay-like thing. You throw the ball well. You got all these weapons on offense with these receivers, Keenan Allen, Mike Williams, great running back in Austin Eckler. The defense could get going. Very similar in terms of the pieces that are there. This is the time for the Chargers to get rolling, go on the road, get the win. Will be a fun one, but Chargers win, cover 27-24.
Yeah, I mean, I like the Chargers a lot here. The Broncos, you just don't know who's going to show up. Can't get the nail on the head there. And I look at the quarterbacks, and when I see this disparity of Justin Herbert versus Teddy, I like Teddy, but he's just nowhere near him. So I'm going to take the Chargers to win this game. That being said, their defense really hasn't played well this year. I think they'll find their stride later on. But, this is a game where the Broncos just locked up Tim Patrick and Cortland Sutton for 3 to 4 years, right? You'd imagine that means they're going to go get a different Q, but you really don't know. That being said, big win against Dallas and a bye. I still like the Chargers. I'm not fooled by the Denver. I can't trust them. So I will take Justin Herbert to maybe a game-winning drive in the fourth quarter to take the win in Denver. Give me 28-24 LA.
We all know Denver has one quarterback on their mind.
Yeah.
Just hoping after this year.
Yep.
AT would love that.
Please God. Please
Yeah.
God.
I'm right there with you guys. Big on the Chargers this year, and I mean Denver. They don't do it for me. 5-5, and obviously they started 3-0. I'm gonna take the Chargers here. I think it is going to be a close game, closer than some people may think. I think the Broncos are going to run the ball well because the Chargers, Achilles heel of that team is they really can't stop the run. So I expect Williams and Gordon to have big games, but I'll take the Chargers to hang on, win and cover. I'll go 24-20 LA.
All right, hopping back to the NFC here. Next two games, NFC, both pretty big, rather good. Minnesota heading to San Fran here. Vikings, I believe, back to the 500 football team I had making playoffs. That's what we like to see.
Same thing with the Niners, Bull. 5-5 too.
Oh, they are back to 500.
I did not
I thought they
realize
were a
that
game under. I thought they were a game under still.
Didn't
But
realize either. It's a big game.
yeah, so that even makes this game a little bit bigger than I thought. Because even with the game under, like I said, when you look at the NFC wild card, Eagles game under is still right there in the thick. I'm thinking the same thing for the Niners. All of a sudden, they're 500 too. But I'm looking at this game one way, and one way how I felt about the Niners the past year and a half. Don't really care for them. And the Vikings, who I did pick in the playoffs, that was my flyer pick in the NFC. But at this point, I honestly have to keep rolling with them because that NFC is wide open. Niners have been rolling. Vikings, impressive win over Green Bay last week. Bottom line is I don't buy anything with the Niners quarterback. And the Niners defense, which is supposed to be their bread and butter, has been good. Yes. I don't think it's been great, though. And I think Minnesota's offense to be able to move the ball against them and score some points. So with that said, give me the Vikings to go on the road, win this game 24-21.
Yeah, gang, maybe we'll bet this one just because it's fun because I got the Niners as one of my flyer teams and you got the Vikings. I will say this. I think Minnesota's offense has a lot of possibility for success because Niners secondary is pretty banged up and man, the Vikings are just loaded offensively. And give credit to Kirk Cousins. The guy's playing really well. He just had a big win against a really good team, which he doesn't do very often, to be honest.
No,
but I see them regressing back. I'm going to take the Niners here. I like Kyle Shanahan's offense. I think they find a way to win at home here. And that's really the biggest reason I take them. I think Minnesota's a different team on the road. Hostile environment for Kirk. He struggles a little bit, has one of his worst games of the year. I just feel like the Niners, gut feeling, they win this game simply because they're home. And I'll take them to win and cover as well. I'll go 24-20 San Fran.
With Gank here, taking the Vikings to win outright on the road. I think last week was a huge win. Maybe gift wrapped because of that interception Kirk threw that they said wasn't the pick. But
I can't talk about that one too much because that one still is stabbing me in the back.
Regardless of that, I mean they're back to 500. The Niners big win over the Jags last week. But I mean, AT, like you think this is a gut for the Niners. This is kind of a gut for me with the Vikings. I think Kirk is actually going to play well. I mean, their defense is very good. So my favorite bet other than the Vikings here is I definitely like the over. I'm going to go 28-27 Vikings. I think they get back on track. And I think it's just because I'm going to say this. I trust the Vikings more than I trust the Niners. And I probably would have said that before the year. They're both 5-5, so I'll stick with it. Vikings win.
I really did not realize the Niners are up to like 5-5.
As soon as you said that, I just looked and I was like, wow, they're 5-5 just like that.
Like I said, I knew they've been heating up, but like I still thought I would have literally bet my life to the fact that they were still a game under 500 and just trying to get right back to it going into this.
Huge game.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a massive game.
Yeah. Got another massive game in the NFC here. LA traveling to Green Bay. Pack 1-point favorites in Lambeau here. Over under 47.5. Biggest story going around Green Bay is, rumors about Rodgers. Not even rumors, but how he has his toe injury, how it's lingering, how it got worse. Do you play him this week with the bye coming up next week or give him the extra rest? Based off what I read, it sounds like you may not see Rodgers at practice at all, but we know Rodgers doesn't have to practice. Sounds like he's not going to practice, but probably still wants to suit up for this one. So I'm going to make this pick based off the fact that Aaron Rodgers is going to suit up, because you could say what you want about his toe. That guy went out there and threw 4+ touchdowns last week and just monster game. And with that said, LA, this new defense, not much of a new defense. You just bring in Von Miller, and it's scary and it's good. But, this Rams defense still, no matter what I see, has still just looked way better last year than it ever has this year. I don't understand why. This is more an eye test for me too, but I've liked what I've seen from their defense more last year than this year. And if Aaron Rodgers suits up and play this game, he could throw Jalen Ramsey on Devontae Adams, take him out of the game. But I think Aaron Rodgers is still going to find a way to pick this defense apart elsewhere, especially in Lambeau Field. It's getting into late November. It's getting cold. Matt Stafford obviously played in the NFC North, knows what it's about, but he also played in a dome, and I still don't really trust him, even if it starts to get a little chilly in these games like this. Give me Aaron Rodgers at home in a game like this any day. Hopefully he plays, fingers crossed. My fantasy team could use it. Fun football game. Packers win, cover 30-27.
Yeah, I mean, I love the over in this game. I think that's definitely the bet. It's a little bit of a stay away just because on one side you got McVay off a bye. Von Miller might get a little more comfortable. Jalen Ramsey might be able to match up against Devontae. It's just not a fantastic matchup for the Packers, all things considered. Off a loss, I don't really ever pick against Aaron Rodgers, so I'm not going to do it here. I think the Packers find a way to win at home in Lambeau. Mason Crosby's been struggling. Maybe he gets right, kicks the game-winning field goal here. But I just, I think the Rams offense gets back on track a little bit, but defensively they can't really make a play. And Rodgers just makes one more play than Stafford at home, like he's pretty much been doing all his career. So, again, I think I got the same score as you. I'm going to go 30-27 Green Bay.
Yeah, I'm taking Green Bay too here. And I think the Packers, obviously a brutal loss last week, but their offense looked fantastic. And, it was against the Vikings defense, so you got to take that with a grain of salt. The Rams off a bye is concerning a little bit, but the thing for the Packers is they're going against Matthew Stafford, who they know very, very well in Green Bay. I think they just get it done here. It's a huge game for the NFC playoff picture, obviously for the 1 seed. So I'm going to trust Aaron Rodgers to get this win, head into his bye, and get a little healthier. So I'll go Packers 23-21.
I'm just going to throw those out here really quick as we go into the 2 prime time games. Biggest spread of the week is Dallas -7.5 on Thanksgiving.
Yeah, there's gonna be a good week.
That's wild.
So, like I said, with that second in primetime games, Chaz, here we go. This is your other AFC North matchup. This is your team, your Ravens, 3.5-point favorites at home against the Browns. Over under 46. Baltimore without Lamar Jackson. Sorry, Adam, just finding a way to pull it out in Chicago. Do the Ravens keep it going here?
Yeah, I'm going to take them to win here. But like I said before, AFC North matchups and just kind of how the Browns have played the Ravens the last few years, especially in Baltimore, I'm going to take the Browns to cover the 3.5. Obviously, me taking them to win is solely based off Lamar playing, which I think he will. But that win last week with Tyler Huntley, I talked about it, and we talked about it pre-show. That is a massive win. A game where they didn't look good. They kind of just found a way. Devontae Freeman actually looked pretty good. He's actually looked pretty good the last few weeks. The defense kept him in it. Obviously, the Bears offense isn't anything crazy to plan for, but the Ravens defense hasn't played great the last few weeks. So it's good to see them play better, get Lamar back at home. A game, I said this pre-show too, the Ravens schedule the rest of the way out is pretty tough. So I think they got to win their home games, especially in the division. The Browns have not been playing very well. Baker Mayfield's all sorts of banged up. So I'm going to take the Ravens at home here, but I do think the Browns keep it close just because that's just kind of what they do against the Ravens. So I'll take Ravens 23-20 in another stressful game for me.
Yeah, I mean, the hook scares me. That's why I wouldn't necessarily lock the Ravens here, but I think they win this game. At home, prime time, Lamar comes back. He's a big-time player. He's going to make big-time plays in this game. On the other side, Baker Mayfield's calling out Browns fans for booing when they put up 10 and 13 points. I mean, I don't know what he's trying to do there. Gank boy, Baker. But I think that the Browns just find a way to win because their coach has a pretty good way to scheme stuff up, but they're just a weird team. And I think the Ravens win this game. I think they cover as well. And I think Lamar has a pretty big day against the Browns defense that hasn't shown much, but the Ravens don't figure out their offensive line. I'm not sure if they're going to get as many wins in the playoffs because they are struggling offensively with their line. I'll take them to win here. Hopefully Lamar has a big day. I'll go 24-17 Baltimore.
Yeah, I'm on the Ravens train to win and cover here. Adam calling Baker my boy. If you listen to the show, everybody knows how I feel about Baker. He's starting to turn into a new Kirk Cousins for me. He's lucky he has commercials that I crack up at, though, so it makes me like him a little bit. But with that said, yeah, I mean, I just never really fully bought into the Browns this year yet. And, they haven't been playing bad football. I mean, Myles Garrett is a fucking animal, and they run the ball well. They do all that stuff that I say every week. They do that, but Ravens going to be too much here, especially at home in prime time. I mean, it's very hard for me to bet against the Ravens when they're at home in prime time with Lamar going. And you got a game like this when I have the Ravens going to the Super Bowl. I kind of been down against the Browns all year. And I just have every reason to believe that the Ravens do pull this one out at home. I'm not going to say with these, like we've been saying it too, throughout this show, it is the AFC North. Nothing's coming with these, but the Ravens do get this one 27-20. And one last game Monday night. Not doing us any favor here. Seattle, who I did not give a lot of credit to start this show, traveling to Washington -1 at home, over 46.5. Well, I'll talk about the Eagles and the NFC East coming up for the NFC, and should find under the radar all shows that Washington's kind of slowly start that climb back up too out there. You win this game here, and they're really starting to put themselves in the picture. With that said, I had shitted on Seattle to start this show. Kind of shitted on Russell Wilson, not so much. Definitely shitted on Pete Carroll. I'm still a huge Russell Wilson guy, and this Washington defense has really not impressed me at all this year. The Seattle offense obviously been struggling. I'm going to give my boy Pete Carroll one more chance here. You got a winnable game on the road against a defense that hasn't been that great. Get Russ cooking again. Score some points. I'm going to take Seattle to win this game outright. Offense gets clicking, kind of gets people like me to forget about how bad it's been the past couple weeks. Give me the Seahawks on the road here with a 31-20 victory Monday night.
Yeah, I completely agree. I mean, I feel like all year I've been saying I'm going to pick this game because of Russ, blah, blah. And it hasn't really worked out. Obviously, he's been hurt for a little bit, but something just tells me prime time, backs against the wall. They kind of air it out, and Pete Carroll just lets Russ cook. He's trying to save his job. I mean, I don't know if he'll get fired after this year. He made the playoffs last year, but things are just not good in Seattle, and there's really no hope looking forward because they've traded away so many of their picks. I just think this is a game they win. Plus, I look at it as a money line, obviously only +1. And Washington football team I have not been big on all year. I think they have 2 nice wins in a row, but I think it stops. And Seattle just, Russ makes one more play in the end to win this game. I think it might be ugly. I don't know if, exactly Seattle looks very good, but they find a way to win ugly. I'll go 24-20 Seattle.
I'm gonna ride with you guys on the Hawks. This is a tough one for me though, because I'm
shocked.
That's against your boys, Chad. Wow.
This is against my boys who I have making the playoffs. Very winnable game for them. But I think the Seahawks, obviously they've played really bad the last few weeks since Russ has been back, and I mean they've been running the ball a lot I think that has to do with Russ not being completely healthy. I think they do air it out this week, and I think their offense finally clicks. I'm just going to go back to primetime Russ. AT, you said it. It might bite us in the ass here again, but the Seahawks, I mean, getting a point against a Washington team that the defense still, I'm not going to buy into. Their offense has looked better. So I actually do love the over in this game because the Seahawks defense is just not good. But in a pick'em game, I'm just going to take Russell Wilson over Taylor Heineke. As much as I want to take the Skins or the football team, I'm going to go with the Hawks here. I'll go 31-27, and the Hawks actually fall into that category too. That I talked
I
about.
would like to hear that.
Ooh, love that. Love that.
That
I like
it's
to
a
hear that.
full added bonus.
All right, Adam.
Where we at, Jake? We don't really have much. We literally have the Panthers, Dolphins, Falcons, Jags, or the Vikings, Niners.
Really like Miami plus 1.5.
You want to bet that game again? Or get the all right. I mean, we usually do lower record gets to pick, so you can take it.
Well, then I'll be picking forever this year.
I'll do Panthers. I'll do Panthers fans.
All right. Actually, I already written it down. I feel like it's a backfire if I do this, but
What?
do you want the Minnesota San Fran game? Just fuck it.
I almost want to do it because I think it'll backfire on you for switching.
I know. I don't know if I'm too late.
No, I want the Panthers. I want the Panthers.
Good. Take them.
You take the fight.
All right. Let's get to locks now here. Adam, you will lead us off this week.
Sure. All right. Well, I'm going to go to what I really like this week, which is never good if you like it that much. I like the over in Rams Packers. I just see the offense for the Rams bouncing back after a bad couple of weeks. Rodgers at home puts up 20, 25, 30 points pretty much every week. So I like that over 47.5. I'm going to go to Denver and take the Chargers -2.5. Might be a close game, but like I said before, Herbert against Teddy. I'm going to take the Chargers to win that game after a big win against the Steelers. And last but not least, especially after I heard Chaz's stats, give me the Hawks +1 on Monday night. Russ, prime time, pick them. Not sure if the guy's ever lost on Monday night, so hopefully he keeps the streak going.
Took one I really wanted there at the end. Well, I've been saying all show I have a lot of underdogs picked this week to cover. I have a good handful to win. So I'm going to give you 3 dogs in my locks right now. I'm going to start to give us some action on Thanksgiving Day. Give me the Raiders +7.5 against Dallas. I do think Dallas wins that game, but thing turns to a fun little shootout that stays close. And now let's move it to Sunday here. I will take the Titans, who I have winning outright. I'll definitely take them +6 against New England. And last but not least, going to one of our AFC North battles, I will take Pitt +4.5 against the Bengals.
God, I thought Tennessee was going to fall to me. I was really getting excited. All right. I will start with, I think I was with AT on this one, but I'm going to another dog. I'm going to take the home dog. I'm going to go with the Jags +1.
There's my cat.
I like it. I like it.
Secondly, I'm going to take, oh man, slim pickings here. I'm going to go Thanksgiving too. I'm going to back Gonzo. I'm going to take the Bills -5.5.
If I was to take a favorite, that was the one I was going to do. Yeah. But I've been dogs all show, so I'm locking 3 dogs this week.
I like it. All right. And then I'm going to take the under in Eagles Giants.
What's that number at again?
46.
All right, boys. We are back on the air. I'm telling you, I think the podcast gods, gambling gods, hated us for going off the air because
Yeah, they
it
weren't
has
happy.
not been good the couple of weeks we decided to just tweet out picks. But hopefully some karma could turn. I'm not gonna lie, as we actually did this show and the knock on wood, because there's nothing good coming out of it. As a gambler, this may be the most excited I've been going into a week into the season.
Yeah.
There's a lot of things I feel good about.
Like it.
So hopefully you can turn around. We got the extra week. We literally just need 2 good weeks in a row, boys, and we are right back on track. So let's hope we can start this week here. Feast week on Thanksgiving.